The courtroom doors opened quietly that afternoon, but nobody inside realized they were about to witness one of the most emotional relationship disasters Judge Judy had ever seen. At the plaintiff's table sat Miss Butler, nervous and exhausted, while across from her sat Raymond Torres, the man she once loved, lived with, and trusted with her family. But now, instead of sitting beside each other, they were preparing to fight in court over violence, broken trust, destroyed property, and the emotional damage left behind after a toxic relationship exploded out of control. Judge Judy looked down at the case file for several seconds before finally speaking. "From what I understand," she began carefully, "the two of you were involved in a long and very tumultuous relationship." Butler nodded quietly while Raymond shifted nervously in his seat. Judge Judy continued reading. "The couple had moved in and out of each other's lives repeatedly, had children together, fought constantly, and eventually ended their relationship after a violent assault that left Butler badly injured." The courtroom immediately became tense. Judge Judy looked directly at Raymond. "You assaulted her, correct?" Raymond hesitated for a moment before quietly admitting, "Yes." A soft murmur spread through the audience. But the story became even darker when Judge Judy revealed that Raymond had already pleaded no contest in criminal court and was about to begin serving jail time. "A no contest plea means you admitted guilt," Judge Judy explained sharply. Raymond tried to defend himself, saying he had not yet been sentenced, but the judge quickly cut him off. "You're going to jail because you assaulted her. That's the reality." Butler sat silently, trying to stay composed while the painful memories clearly flooded back into her mind. Judge Judy then is asked how long they had lived together, and Butler explained that they had spent over a year moving between houses while trying unsuccessfully to save their relationship. At first, she claimed the problems were only arguments and emotional stress, but eventually the fights became explosive. She described one argument where paint was spilled all over the house during a move. According to Butler, Raymond became furious, ruined furniture, and even threw her clothes into wet paint while screaming at her. Raymond denied intentionally damaging anything and insisted the paint spill was an accident, but Judge Judy carefully pointed out that even Butler's written complaint described the paint spill itself as accidental. Still, Judge Judy made it clear that the property damage was not the real issue. The real issue was violence. As the questioning continued, the courtroom became even more uncomfortable when Judge Judy asked both of them about drug use inside the house. Raymond admitted they smoked marijuana during their relationship. "Where were the children when you were doing drugs?" Judge Judy asked immediately. Raymond claimed the children were usually away or asleep, but Judge Judy clearly did not believe him. Her expression hardened as she explained that children learn behavior from the adults around them, and exposing them to drugs, violence, and constant fighting could permanently damage their future. Butler lowered her head in shame while Raymond stared silently at the floor. Then the conversation shifted toward the night of the assault, the night that completely destroyed whatever remained of their relationship. Butler described the terrifying scene in emotional detail. According to her, Raymond came home late at night, angry and aggressive while the children were inside the house. He allegedly screamed profanities, frightened the kids, and started another argument almost immediately. Butler claimed she asked him to stop yelling in front of the children, but instead he became more aggressive. She said he sat next to her on the bed, grabbed her leg painfully, and stared at her with pure rage in his eyes. In frustration, she slapped him once. But according to Butler, that single moment caused Raymond to completely lose control. "He started hitting me with closed fists," she said emotionally, over and over again. The courtroom became completely silent as she described being punched repeatedly while her terrified children watched nearby, crying and screaming. She claimed there was blood everywhere and that she eventually had to be taken away in an ambulance. Judge Judy requested the photographs from the incident, and once she saw the injuries, her entire demeanor changed. The bruises on Butler's face were severe. Her swelling was obvious. Even the audience appeared shocked by the images. Judge Judy slowly looked up at Raymond again. "You did this?" she asked coldly. Raymond lowered his head and admitted it quietly. But even then, he attempted to justify the violence by claiming Butler attacked him first. He alleged that she scratched him, hit him, and tore his shirt during their argument. Butler instantly denied his version of events, and the two began arguing loudly inside the courtroom. Judge Judy immediately stopped them. "Enough," she snapped. The room fell silent again. Raymond then admitted something that stunned everyone. "I made the biggest mistake of my life," he said quietly. "I'm sorry." But Judge Judy was no longer interested in apologies. Instead, she focused on the innocent people trapped in the middle of the chaos, the children. "The people I feel most sorry for are your kids," she said firmly. She explained that both adults had failed to protect the children from toxic behavior, emotional instability, drug use, and violence. Judge Judy told Butler directly that repeatedly returning to Raymond after dangerous fights showed terrible judgment as a parent. Butler began softly as the judge continued lecturing both of them about responsibility, maturity, and the long-term damage their actions could cause their children. But then the courtroom drama became even more shocking when Raymond suddenly claimed that Butler had continued visiting him after the assault, and that the two had even continued seeing each other romantically afterward. Butler immediately denied everything, became emotional and angry once again. The courtroom erupted into another argument until Judge Judy finally restored order. "Your relationship is bad news," she said firmly, "for both of you." The judge explained that the relationship had become built entirely on manipulation, instability, and emotional destruction. She warned Butler that love had blinded her judgment, while warning Raymond that violence destroys lives forever. Finally, after hearing every detail, Judge Judy delivered her decision. She ruled that Raymond was absolutely responsible for the assault and ordered him to pay Butler $2,500 in civil damages for the injuries he caused. "Case closed," Judge Judy announced firmly. But the drama inside the courtroom was only beginning. Moments later, another broken couple entered the courtroom with a completely different story. One involving a stolen 1970 Mustang, fake paperwork, betrayal, and homelessness. Vicky Gonzalez sat nervously before Judge Judy, while her ex-boyfriend Bruce Henderson appeared defensive almost immediately. Judge Judy read through the complaint carefully before looking confused. "You were living inside a car?" she asked. Vicky nodded quietly. According to her, their relationship had become so unstable and toxic that after arguments with family members and repeated incidents involving police being called to houses, the couple eventually ended up sleeping inside Bruce's white 1970 Ford Mustang. Judge Judy looked stunned by the situation. Vicky explained that after one particularly bad breakup, Bruce agreed to sell her the Mustang for $1,500. She claimed she paid him cash and received a handwritten bill of sale from him. However, according to Vicky, Bruce later showed up at her sister's house and stole the Mustang back without permission. Bruce immediately denied selling the car at all. He insisted the Mustang was his prized possession and claimed he would never agree to sell it. Judge Judy asked to examine the bill of sale carefully. At first glance, something strange immediately stood out. Bruce's own name appeared misspelled on the document. Bruce smirked confidently, believing this mistake would prove the paper was fake. But Judge Judy continued studying the handwriting carefully, while comparing it with several letters Bruce had previously written to Vicky. Slowly, Bruce's confidence began disappearing. The handwriting style matched perfectly. The wording matched. The signature patterns matched. At first, Bruce denied writing the document entirely, but under pressure, he accidentally admitted writing something similar. Judge Judy instantly caught the contradiction. "Oh, yes, you did," she said sharply. Bruce realized too late that he had trapped himself with his own statements. The audience laughed quietly, while Bruce desperately tried changing his story again. But Judge Judy had already made her decision. She ruled that Bruce had knowingly sold the Mustang and later unlawfully taken it back. Vicky was awarded the full $1,500, another relationship destroyed by lies, manipulation, and anger. Then came the final case of the day, and somehow it was even more chaotic. Two sisters from Chicago entered the courtroom fighting over a bicycle worth only $150, But as Judge Judy quickly realized, the bicycle was not the real problem. Years of family resentment, jealousy, and emotional frustration had been building beneath the surface for a long time. One sister claimed she bought the bicycle for her brother-in-law after being promised repayment. The other sister insisted she never agreed to pay anything and accused her sibling of constantly interfering in family matters. Very quickly, the argument spiraled into accusation involving babysitting, borrowing cars, using each other's homes, and years of emotional tension between family members. Eventually, one sister admitted she became so angry while trying to recover the bicycle that she smashed a window and severely injured her own hand. Blood reportedly covered the area, while the family continued arguing about money instead of worrying about her injury. Judge Judy appeared frustrated by the immaturity of the entire situation. She questioned the husband directly and eventually discovered that he still had possession of the bicycle. Once that fact became clear, the case was easy to decide. Judge Judy ruled that the sister who purchased the bicycle deserved repayment and awarded her the full $150. As the final case ended and the family slowly walked out of the courtroom, Judge Judy left everyone with one final lesson that connected all three stories together. Relationships built on chaos, manipulation, violence, dishonesty, and emotional instability never end peacefully. Eventually somebody gets hurt, families collapse, children suffer, and the damage becomes impossible to ignore.